Welcome to the Hot Seat with Holly Heat. I am your host, Holly Heat. And I'm not sure if you've heard, but some pretty big things are happening in Houston. The whole city is celebrating because it's my birthday month. Well, okay, it's my birthday month, but a majority of the city is celebrating because the Astros won the World Series. Fox 26 took to the streets and interviewed one fan after our historic win.
Exactly. Hey, what do you have to say to everyone who still considers the Astros cheaters?
Fuck y'all.
Well, all right.
No.
Sorry, guys. Did not mean to do that. It's love television. Anything you can have. Hey,
Oh, I couldn't agree more with this passionate young man. The fact is, no matter how much these other peon teams and their fans hate us, we have been consistent in reaching the postseason even since the cheating scandal. In NBA news, Kyrie Irving has been canceled again, and this time with dire consequences, including Nike's suspension of their partnership with the controversial point guard. They also made a list of 6 requirements he must meet in order to return to the team, including attending an anti-hate training, as well as meeting with Nets owner Joe Tsai in order to prove essentially that he's learned how harmful his actions were and that he won't repeat this type of behavior in the future. Well, I think we can all agree that tweeting a link about a documentary questioning whether the Holocaust actually happened is not okay. There are plenty of egregious narratives, oversights, blatant untruths being perpetrated by politicians with far-reaching platforms every day, and it seems like they're not even held to the standard that athletes are, but here we are. In the spirit of making a ton of over-top demands, I've made a list of demands for the NBA. Number 1, fix the All-Star Dunk Contest. Number 2, stop having the All-Star Game in cold cities. Number 3, get rid of soft referees. Number 4, start serving drinks in the fourth quarter. Regardless of all of that, free KD. Again, we are not even a month into the NBA regular season, and the NBA still has a firm grip on the headlines with its drama. In the NFL, some of the usual suspects are rounding out their W column in what has been a rather unpredictable season thus far, as we make it to the midpoint of the season. My Texans are the only team with 1 win, which should put us in good position at the draft. However, that never seems to really pan out for us either, as we never end up re-signing our number 1 pick. We may not be that great at football, but here's a few things Houston is great at: baseball, food, grills, music, and flooding. The last one we're really great at, so yeah, please stop moving to Houston. Well, I have a great show for you today. My guest is Dillard of the University of Houston women's basketball, so let's get to the hot seat. Welcome to the Hot Seat with Holly Heat. I am your host, Holly Heat, and today I am joined by Dillard of U of H women's basketball. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, it's such a small world that I just happen to know you through my cousin, which is like really cool that, you know, Houston is that, I call it a small big city, something like that.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, I know you're not originally from here, but you've been in Houston for a while now.
9 years.
9 years, and you're from San Antonio.
Yes.
And
Countdown City.
Countdown City? Is that what they call it?
Countdown City, Deuce Dime, 210.
I have never heard any of those things. The only thing, I mean, not that, you know, in Houston we're kind of like, I guess, all about Houston, but that's funny. Now that I'm being reminded that you're from San Antonio, Charles Barkley always talks mess about San Antonio. Do you take that personally?
I don't, but it's like, why? Why pick on little San Antonio?
The dirty,
you know,
he calls it the dirty creek. He talks about the women and everything.
Look, San Antonio is a great city to raise your kids in and to retire in.
Okay. So are you going to move back when you retire?
I won't say never, but right now I don't think so. I don't know. Okay. I love Houston. Like, I've really met a lot of people and develop a lot of good relationships. So I really love Houston.
Shout out to my cousin Regina. her neighbor, Regina.
Man, best neighbor ever.
Best neighbor ever.
Best neighbor ever.
She was my neighbor too for a while, so
Yes.
kind of right around the corner. Plenty of margaritas and fun. So, well, I know that you're transplant, but you have been here for a while. So Astros just won the World Series. Did you celebrate or do you feel prideful of that? I know you were out of town for the actual celebration, but
I do. You know, I watched all the games leading up to the championship game, and the night that they won, I'm running through the house like Astros. And I've never watched as much baseball as I've had since moving to Houston.
yeah.
So I feel like I've become an Astros fan. The city just loves their Astros, and so each time they've won their World Series, it's just been a great, period of winning. Working at U of H, they would light up the stadium orange when the Astros would win during the championship run. So I am an Astros fan, and I love watching them, and I'm so excited. I wish I could have gone to the parade, but my son went, and I'm just living vicariously through his experience.
Yeah. Right. Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I was out of town, so you're not the only one that missed it.
Yeah.
So are you, okay, I'm going to assume you're a Spurs fan, or are you kind of not really committed to a team? Because I know a lot of people that played basketball actually don't like being super committed to a particular team.
I'll put it like this. I am a Spurs fan. I'm not super committed. I was very committed when Tony Parker, David Robinson, Manu, when all of them were there.
Yeah.
Right now, I'll be honest, I haven't watched a complete Spurs game in a while. I know they're going through some transitional periods and trying to get back to those glory days, but I am a Spurs fan because I'm from San Antonio, but I'm not super committed to them right now, just because it's the NBA is different from when I was growing up watching a lot of games. So
yeah.
Well,
I'll be interested to see if Pop sticks around or how much longer he sticks around. And, so that'll be interesting to see. I, of course, always hated the Spurs because, I was being a D Wade fan.
Yeah.
We had some run-ins and some things did not turn out great for us. And
that was when Tony Parker and Manu was playing
that fundamental basketball, and it was very not exciting to watch, in my opinion.
Yes.
But, it gets the job done. I can't, I can't say anything to the contrary of that.
Right.
Okay. Well, as far as coaching and let's talk about the recruitment scene and how sort of dynamics of recruitment has changed. I mean, obviously things changed throughout the pandemic for other, for reasons that you couldn't always go see players.
Yeah.
But now even, with transfer portals and NIL and just all of these things, how has all of that changed the recruiting scene?
Well, to kind of give you a little background, I mean, I'm going on my 16th year of coaching. And so just from rules aspects, it's changed a lot. When I first started, we could only call kids once a week, once a month. We had to turn in paper logs of calls. But now, with the way phones are, we can text now, send all these pictures and graphics and stuff. But like you said, with NIL deals and the transfer portal, the recruiting period and the recruiting process is so different for coaches and players. I know a lot of times when I call kids, especially when we can contact them earlier, you can contact them so early, or they can call you. And so at some point, a lot of kids can get tired of the recruiting process. So a lot of times it's like, look, I love you. I love your game. Where are you in your process? And, I know you've been getting hit up a lot. Are you at a point where you're already narrowing things down? And that could be by their sophomore or start of their junior year, because they've already been in the process for a while. But, with the NIL deals and transfer portal, it does change a lot of things. NIL deals, a lot of schools are able to set up really great deals for their whole team. You know, some schools have been able to set up deals where each player is getting $25,000, you know, and then it's going to be a competitive thing where, oh, well, if they did $25K, we're going to match that and go over. We're going to set up every player with $35K. So that's a huge competitive factor that a lot of colleges have to take in, and that a lot of recruits kind of take in as well. But, you know, I'm an old head. I just like playing basketball. I'm just like, look, if you want to just play some ball, you know, you're good enough, you're going to make the money. But the way the NIL deal is, you do have to, you know, get some things set up for a lot of players. The transfer portal, that really changed the game a lot.
Yeah.
You know, it's tougher for younger players because, you know, in the portal you have some older players with experience. And so a lot of coaches are going to go into the portal trying to get that experience on their team. But again, at the end of the day, if you can play, you're going to get recruited, you're going to get signed to a team. But yeah, those are the two main factors that have changed a lot in the recruiting game.
So is there any feeling that, like, okay, a player, if you guys don't feel any need to, like, cater to players in any way, like, kind of nervous that they might try to get in the transfer portal if things don't go their way, or like?
Well, I won't say that. I think you have to build relationships. So when you're recruiting, you're building a relationship. When the player signs with you, you still have to maintain that relationship. You know, the relationship with that kid, with the player, and the relationship with their parents still too. You know, because at the end of the day, as a parent, you still want your kid somewhere where they're going to be taken care of. You know, they're away from home where there's another parent there to take care of them because their parents are not there. So if you have a strong enough relationship with your players, then you really won't have to stress about that.
Yeah.
But if you're just thinking basketball, then yeah, you're going to be recruiting your player every year because they can jump into the portal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so U of H is set to go, is going to be power.
Next year, the 23-24 season, we will be going into the Big 12.
So are you excited about that? Nervous about that?
I'm more excited about it.
Okay.
It does change a lot of things. And, you know, when they made the official announcement, it did change a lot of our recruiting list as well. So I'm excited about it. I think it's great for the campus, great for U of H.
How does it change the recruiting list? Like, just you go out after different types of recruits now?
Well, you know, you will have to go after players that can compete in the Big 12.
Right.
You know,
right.
When you go from a conference that is more mid-major to a BCS conference, then you've got to definitely go for players that can compete. And I won't say compete immediately, but have the potential to develop to compete at that level.
So would that mean you're more so pulling from, like, the JUCOs? Would you rather?
I think it depends on the school. You know, I think with us, we've gotten some really good players out of JUCOs. We've gotten good players out of transfer portals, and we've gotten good high school players. So it just depends on the campus. You know, again, some JUCO kids, like, they might not have been seen out of high school, and then they come out, and it's like, every BCS school is on them. So you just never know. So we just, as recruiters, you don't want to leave any stone unturned. You want to really try to find that needle in the haystack that's going to help you, you know, compete in the league you're in.
Okay. So what is, like, what do you say, like, what is the X factor when it comes to a good athlete versus, like, a great athlete? Like, what really divides it that you're like, that's the one?
You know, for me, I think you can have a great skill set. I think the X factor is that dog mentality. You know,
that dog in you. Gotta have that dog in you.
You know, I think it's, and not just dog, but again, you know, that dog mentality with a skill set, coachable, you know, good character. because you can't have players that have all that and just not a great teammate or not really listen to coaches. But the ones that really separate themselves, if I've got 10 seconds on the clock, who am I going to put the ball? Who am I going to put the ball in the hands of?
Yeah.
And who do I know is going to go get it done with 10 seconds on the clock? It's just the mentality that you have to have. You can skill and train, but it's just something that's in you that I'm going to get that bucket.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to get this stop. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That does, and you could see it. Like you could see it's harder to describe, but then when you see it, you're like,
you can see it on the court. You
can
tell some players that have it, and they don't even have to be the most skilled player.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell they are super competitive. If something doesn't go their way on one end of the court, they're going to go make it up on the other end. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk women's sports in general, because obviously it's been like a big topic.
Mm-hmm.
We know that there's like the unequal pay, but I mean, then there's the, the revenue that's generated from both, which obviously affects, the pay.
Mm-hmm.
So what are your thoughts about, just the inequality in general?
It's not, it's obvious it's there.
Right.
I just really think people have to really, take on women's sports. Women's sports is fun to watch.
Right.
A lot of people say they have a better time watching WNBA or college women's sports, women's teams play than the NBA, because you can actually see what plays are being ran. It's not 1-on-5 or, give the ball and clear out for a player. But it's just, it has to be intentional. People have to make the decision, okay, I'm going to watch this game. I'm going to go support this game. But on the, on the other side of that, we have to make sure we play in seasons where we know people are going to come. There's some cities where, and I've heard this from other people, they have games in the summer for women's games in the summer, but people want to be outside in the summer because they've been cooped up inside all year because of the coldness.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of trying to balance it.
But you also can't have the games during the NBA season either, because then you're competing.
Right.
So that is kind of like a difficult road to navigate. And I would say like in general, I didn't grow up paying, my family is from Indiana. So my aunt played basketball in high school. But I didn't grow up like being exposed, so to speak, to women's sports in general. So I think that, it has to be a conscious effort.
Yeah.
Well,
to touch on your point, when we were growing up, they didn't show a lot of women's sports. I tell my kids all the time, like, I didn't watch a college basketball game until I really got to college, really. In high school, I probably watched 2 high school games because I'm watching 2 ex-players from my high school team play.
Yeah.
And they were at a small college. We just went as a team to go watch them. But I didn't get to see a lot of college games on TV. So now that they do show a lot of games on TV, it just has to be an effort for people to, okay, I'm going to tune into this game and watch it. I know during the NCAA tournament, especially early in the tournament, they're showing men's games and women's games at the same time. So it's just a matter of people saying, okay, I'm going to go watch this game. If there's a regional tournament in the town, I want to go to that game. And that's been the battle with women's sports, I think, just because, again, we do compete and play at the same time as a lot of the male sports. But it's just got to be intentional for people to say, I'm going to take the family to go watch this game. I played in WNBA. I think
you played for San Antonio.
Yeah, San Antonio Silver Stars. So you put teams in strategic places where you're going to get a good support of women's basketball. San Antonio, they had a really good support. I know they moved to Vegas. In Vegas, they have a really good fan support system now.
Shout out to Vegas.
Yeah,
Aces, right?
Aces,
yeah.
They have a really good fan support. But
champions.
I know that they're the owner of the team. He does a remarkable job of, getting people in the stands, getting alumni, players back to watch the games.
So it's more than just on the fans. Like it's on the owners, it's on sponsors, it's on. So it's more of a collective effort.
Definitely, you have to be strategic about a lot of things. You know, if you put a WNBA team in a college town, like if you put a team near, you know, Stanford or Tennessee, like Stanford's always drawing fans to games. So I'm sure they would draw tons of fans to WNBA games.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just got to be strategic. But I think now you do have teams that do draw great fan support in WNBA. But again, it's depends on the city. Sometimes people are just like, I've been cooped up all year. I don't want to be in the gym for another 2 hours.
For another 2 hours.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about, you know, sort of like the college scene with the transfer portal and NIL, and that's kind of like college players, like player empowerment and stuff. But what do you just feel like, not just speaking about women's basketball, but just sports in general, just this whole, I guess, movement of player empowerment? Like just now you have, you know, people's contract, like in football, players are getting fully guaranteed contracts now. And basketball, we've seen some players that have forced their way out of teams and situations to go to other teams. Like, what is your general feeling about just like this player empowerment movement?
Well, I mean, I support it. You know, it does show that players are educated on, you know, what their rights are. I won't even say rights, but they're educated on the impact that they have on teams. And so, and that's the one thing you want to make sure you do as a coach. You know, when you have them a certain period of time, you want to make sure that you've developed them and helped them grow to know what their worth is. And so, you know, when players are kind of protesting and wanting more, you know, on one side of it, yeah, you do deserve it, you've worked for it. But on the other side of it, you got to know there's work behind it too. You have to keep working. You know, with rewards comes a lot of work too. So as players keep getting educated and being mindful of that, you know, owners or coaches, they've got to know that players are knowing their worth. And so we've got to respect that and just make sure that both parties are knowing what is going to, you know, be required of each responsibility, I guess.
So you don't see like it really like detracting from the game or anything with like these players trying to like, I mean, a good example of course would be James Harden forcing his way out of Houston and then forcing his way out of Brooklyn.
Well, that's what I mean by the work behind it. Like, okay, you're asking for a lot, so you got to make sure you're producing. What you're asking for, you got to make sure you're producing on the other end of it. You know, you can't keep wanting and then not producing. So there's got to be a balance of, okay, if I'm going to ask for this, I know I'm going to put the work behind it and I'm going to produce enough or more than what they think I can produce to get what I want. Yeah,
I would say I agree for the most part.
Yeah.
You know?
What do you know?
I mean, you know, I'm really more, I'm a pro player, I would say.
I'm not a
both
shut up and dribble type person.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like you have to know if you're gonna scream for what you want, you better scream your worth. You better be producing. Yeah. Because the minute that you don't produce, they're gonna. You did all of this
just to
Yeah, they're gonna ride your butt. You know.
Yeah. No, I definitely. No, that's definitely true. And the fans, the analysts, everybody, probably even your teammates are gonna let you know if you're doing it or not after you put everybody through all of this.
All the distractions.
Like,
look, put up or shut up. Okay.
Right. So, for coaching, what would you say is the most challenging part of your job? Coaching college athletes.
You know, I'll say as a college coach, and it's not really a challenge. I guess it could be, but there's a reward to it too. You know, you get we get young ladies at 18, 17, 18 years old, and you're with them pretty much, 16 hours out the day, besides when they go to sleep, you're with them. So you're trying to help mold and develop them from 18 to 21 and 22 years old. And that's a period where you really start figuring out who you are. And so the things you try to help guide them through without holding their hand through everything, that can be really tough, you know. Like young, and I'm speaking as a female college coach, young female athletes go through so much between 18 and 22. Oh. And
I remember, and I would not want to relive those days.
I'm saying it is, but when they graduate, it's so rewarding to see what they've developed into, and then 2, 3, 4 years when they've graduated and they come back and they thank you for everything. Yeah. It's like you see all these gray hairs, 3 of them are your name. But I think that's probably the most challenging is just, you're really their parent away from their parents. Yeah. And it's just so much that they go through. And you're like, if you just bear with me, okay? Just trust this process, please. Let's get through this hard period, okay? And it's not even just, hard stuff on the court, off the court, in the classroom. It's like, if you can just bear through this hard moment, you're going to look on the other side.
I promise on the other side.
Thank you.
You will see the light.
You're going to see the light. I promise. We've all been through this. Like, I don't have full written on my forehead. I've seen this. Like, this is not the first time I've heard this excuse, okay? Yeah. I think for me, that's the most challenging, recruiting stuff always changes. Basketball stuff changes. I can get through that. But dealing with them, working with them from 18 to 22, woo. Yeah. 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 Well, but, when they graduate and they come back.
Makes it all worthwhile. Maybe all worth, except for the gray hairs.
Oh, man. Yes.
All right. Well, we're going to take a break, and then when we come back, I have a couple games to play. Hopefully your game for the games.
We'll see.
Okay? All right. So we will be right back. So I've read your comments. I've heard what you've said. How can a woman possibly know anything about sports? My show, The Hot Seat with Holly Heat, is an experience for sports fans to get to know athletes, fans, and myself through an outside-the-box perspective. This fall, you'll see who sits in my hot seat. Welcome back to the Hot Seat with Holly Heat. I am your host, Holly Heat, and I am here with Ty Dillard of U of H Women's Basketball, and we are going to play a couple of games. This first game is called The Most, Not the Lesser, and it's named after, I can't say Houston's very own, Port Arthur's very own Pimp C, rest in peace. Yeah. So in this game, we are going to choose the most disrespectful or most egregious of the two plays. Okay. So whichever one is, I guess, better, so to speak. Okay. All right. So starting out with WNBA. Elena Beard. These are buzzer beaters. Okay. So, if I can learn how to work this. All right. 76, Elena Beard hitting the corner jumper at the buzzer, giving the sparks to all right, that's a buzzer beater. Elena Beard, game winner. Okay. All right, and then our next one, Maya Moore with a buzzer beater. Here.
The 3 at the buzzer to give Minnesota the win.
I guess I'm going to go with Maya Moore. She kind of just stood there and created it by herself. Yeah. I'm going to go with Maya Moore. Okay.
I was interested in how you would choose because, from your coaching perspective, it's probably a little bit different than, just a fan would look at them. Yeah. So,
I would go with Maya. She created it by herself. Elena kind of got an assist.
The next one is going to be handles. Here we go. Okay. This is Courtney Vandersloot here. Okay. So a nice little.
They get the ball into Courtney Vandersloot. Steph Dolson comes out,
Good
slips
play.
the screen. Sloot.
Okay.
Now it's just up to her to create over the 6'9". Brittany Griner here changes pace.
I know the different angles definitely like. Let's see, and then we have Erica Wheeler here.
Do that. LaChina, that's Monique Billings' first
With
field
the
goal.
ankle breaker.
I'm gonna go with Erica.
Erica.
That's giving me.
It's so much
That's
more
giving me
dramatic.
that the MJ 23 versus Utah when he hit the crossover on Byron Russell. I'm gonna go with that one.
Okay. I wasn't sure because there was something really poetic about the first one. But then the ankle breaker, it's like, man,
I'm
you know,
going
how
Wheeler.
do you go?
Yeah.
All right, now we're gonna switch over to NBA. Let's see. I think this one. We got Iggy. Ooh.
Dang.
And then who did I put against Iggy? I want to say it's this one. Kyrie, the infamous. These, you know, because
Kyrie poetic with it though.
yeah. Well, they were both splitting defenders, so I was like, let me match them up against each other. So yeah, Kyrie kind of.
I'm gonna go with Kyrie. You know, I think Kyrie could probably do that again.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you don't see too many from
Right,
Iggy,
from
but
Iggy. I know I could guarantee another move like that from Kyrie.
Yeah. No, I think he's a little. Would you say he has? Would you say he still has the best handles in the league right now, or would you?
No. I don't know.
There's so many. Which we're about to get to.
Speaking of my Spurs, there we go.
There you go. All right. Speaking of some.
Ooh. Okay, Trey.
Got Trae Young.
Yeah, Trey's nice with it.
Trae, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have Ja Morant.
Ooh, but that dang Ja. That's a tough one. Can we get a tie?
A tie? No
Uh.
tie. We cannot get a tie. That's not how this game's work.
I'm gonna go with Ja.
Ja. Ooh, Ja.
Yeah.
Ja. Well, I will say the season opener against the Rockets.
Yeah.
You know, I went to that game, and just to see him, I mean, he does a lot. I worry for him from a longevity perspective, like just because, you know, he does do so much and he is always going to the rack, and you're gonna get hit. You're gonna get beat up like my fave, D Wade, you know?
Yeah.
And it takes a toll on your body. D Rose is a good, he already had the knee problems and so forth, but well, thank you for playing the most, not the lesser with me. Shout out, rest in peace, Pimp C. Shout out UGK Bun B. All right, so our next game is Jersey Pong, and I am notoriously bad at my games, and I know you said you might not be that good at it, but so maybe we'll just both be really bad, or maybe we'll both be really good and surprise each other. I don't know. So, okay, let's get into Jersey Pong next. Welcome to the Hot Seat with Holly Heat. I am your host, Holly Heat, and today I am here with my guests, Michael Montgomery, Mike James, Jonathan Wells, Tacho Tyler, Alvin Brooks III, Vincent Taylor, Jerome Howard, Byron Smith. So let's get to the hot seat. You think for 1 second I'm gonna be on here calling you Black Hand? You got another thing coming.
In the
cut this part out. Cut this part out.
I gotta keep it real.
Oh, in the restaurants. I thought you were about to say your mama. I was like, good Lord, no.
Biggie or Tupac? Dang. Who came up with these questions?
Me. All original content. I don't know what process has taken longer. Phillies or me trying to heal from my last breakup? Well, I took a trip this weekend to the Badlands. No, not those Badlands. I just wish I had a hugely overhyped, highly anticipated game to talk about today. Oh, wait, I do. 27.
We have high schools at 27.
In Florida?
Yes.
Okay, let's not get started on Florida.
And their Twitter and their OnlyFans.
Oh, about the kids that got OnlyFans? I think that a fan got a little too rowdy and they threw something. It got lodged in Embiid's throat, and John Collins was trying to just give him like a little, he was trying to help him out, get it, stuck in his throat.
Hey, it's like I rigged the game. I think you're trying to make it. I didn't rig the game, y'all. Trying to make.
All right, now it's my turn. The champ is here. Just kidding. I have nothing to back that up.
I've known you for some years. You and I actually met in a sports group, Hoop Jargon. Shout out to Hoop Jargon.
It just looks like Drake and Kanye fight like this.
Is swimsuit Holly over? I mean, that's the big question.
ING verb, another ING verb. Kissing. Oh. Ooh, we're getting spicy here. I'm like, now we're on the hot seat.
This is the Hot Seat with Holly Heat. I am your host, Holly Heat, and we are here about to play Jersey Pong, the game that is taking the world by storm. Just kidding. Maybe. Ty Dillard, U of H women's basketball, is going to play with me, and I always defer to my guest to go first because that's just kind of the host that I am. So I will, we're going to put, I think, a minute on the clock. Okay. And hopefully a fact checker can be on standby to check these out. So, all right. So, and let me explain the rules. I mean, okay. I'm sure you may or may not have played beer pong in your time, but you're going to bounce the ping pong ball on the table. Hopefully, it makes it into one of those cups. But all of these cups are marked with numbers that have been someone's jersey number at some point. Okay. Past, present, doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. Again, we have the fact checker on standby over there, and whoever gets the most points wins the game. Okay. So I'm kind of okay. We're not starting out on a good note there. I'm notoriously bad at my own game, but let's go.
Hey, let's see.
I'm here for moral support. I'm not a hater. I'm a little bit of a hater, but
I'm a little competitive too.
Okay, I mean, I can only assume that being, a ex-professional athlete and a coach, and so
there's a few numbers I know I can.
Okay,
hopefully,
I believe in you.
We will see.
Okay.
Oh, jeez. Oh. Okay. 4. Oh, Jesus. Number 4. I know one of my current players at U of H wears number 4, but
is that cheating? No, go ahead. Go ahead. You have to say her name.
It's number 4. I think it's Taylor Purvis. I think that's her
jersey
number.
All right. You gotta hurry because you only have a minute.
I don't know.
You gotta go.
Okay. Oh, Jesus. 0. I don't know.
Oh, I know.
Not 4 again. Not 4 again.
32. That's
Scottie Pippen.
Okay. Oh, you were about to make it at 4 again. Oh my God.
13.
Okay.
That's James Harden.
Okay.
Pippen is now 32.
Jeez.
What is he, 42?
33.
Oh,
damn. I knew it. He's 32.
Shaq. Deshaun Watson.
Magic Johnson. Damn it.
32
I thought it was Shaq. I thought 32 was Shaq.
Running back, still
Oh, I can't. Let me not.
I'm bad at it. Like, really. I don't
right.
pay attention to jersey numbers. I didn't have any basketball jerseys growing up.
All right.
80s or wide receivers.
Okay. All right. I'm on the clock.
Ooh.
12. Well, Dwight Howard had number 12 at one time.
Oh.
All right. Ooh. 22. Jimmy Butler.
Dang.
I'm gonna say. You're gonna check it. Oh no. 12 again? I don't know another number 12. I don't think. Crap. No, Kyrie's 11. Oh, I'm just gonna do another one. 81. Terrell Owens.
Dang. She won.
Dang, 12 again? Hold on. Okay. I gotta pass on that one. I'm trying to. 81. Another 81? I don't know. I need to get some more balls. Where's the assistants?
She won.
What? Is my time up? Look, I'm aiming for 4. I don't know another 81. Oh, you know what? This game is rigged. Okay. That was the time. Look, I was aiming for number 4 because I did know a number 4. Jalen Green, he plays for the Rockets. Anyway, okay. Another 12.
TV 12, Tom Brady.
Tom Brady. Boo. Yeah. Yeah. I'm on Team AB, not Tom Brady. Anyway. That's for another day. All right. All right. We don't need any interjections from the crowd here. Well, thank you for being a good sport, coming and joining me, answering some tough questions, and being on the hot seat. Thank you for joining me on the hot seat with Holly Heat, and we'll see you next time. All right. And then we got to take a picture before you go.
Okay.
Golly, is this table like they all kept going in the same spot?
That's because y'all kept aiming. Y'all think y'all shooting free throws.
Y'all
were doing free throw shooting.
I was like, I know Giannis is 34. I don't know who a number 1 is. Oh, Tracy McGrady was number 1, right?
Tracy McGrady.
23 would have been easy. 8 would have been easy.
Who else? Warren Moon.
James Harden number 1.
James Harden not number 1. Who was he number 1?
Philadelphia, he number 1.
Oh, is he? Hell if I know. I forgot he. We do a bunch of different things here at the studio, so I shoot all kinds of stuff. So we got different shows. So.
I like the Astros orange, though. That's what I mean. That looks.
On 3, y'all ready? 3. Okay, now do a where you introduce who's going to be on your episode.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
And
this is Holly Heat of the Hot Seat with Holly Heat, and this week I'm going to have Ty Dillard of University of Houston women's basketball on the show, so y'all stay tuned.